All right, the intent here is to show you how to program the KG-916 using the software associated with the website. And so if I just go to any Google search and type in Better Safe Radio, I'm going to go directly to their website. And so once on their website, I can just hit Radio Shop. I can do all radios and accessories. And then I'm going to do the Wouxun or Wouxun handhelds. And I want to find the 916. It's right here in the middle of the screen. Right here. And press on it. And so once it opens the website, you'll see here's the KG-916 GMRS radio. And I'm going to come all the way down. They're going to want you to buy this programming cable. It says the Wouxun or Wouxun PCO 009 WX USB red USB programming cable for Wouxun radios. You can buy that from them. It's $15, normally $18.99. I opted to get or use a cable, the very same cable, but it's from Baofeng or B-Tech, the American version of Baofeng. And I use that cable without any problems. It's actually more expensive, though. If you go on the Amazon to find it, it's going to be more expensive. So once I'm on this website, I'm going to go here where it just says Description Specs. And I'm going to click on it. That's going to open up more information. I'll just scroll down that information. And I must have pressed the wrong button. I want description. So there's two actual buttons there, description and specs. So I want description, and then I'm going to see free downloads, and I want the bottom blue one says customer programming software and drivers. And when I click on it, it's going to open up this little spreadsheet thing, and I'm going to go ahead and use the top one, Wouxun KG-916 GMRS customer programming software. And when I click on that, it's going to download that software onto my computer. And that's what I'm going to use to program the radio. All right. Hey, guys. Ham Subtle here. Kilo Zero Foxtrot Yankee Romeo. I am going to show you how to program the Wouxun Wouxun KG-916 using the programming software that you can find on the Better Safe Radio website for the radio. That's where you get the radio from. That's where he has the free downloadable software. You will also need a programming cable. There is a Wouxun programming cable, a red cable, that's about $15.99 on his website. I have used before a Baofeng programming cable. They have to have that specific computer chip in it, and I want to say it's called FTDI, but it has to have that chipset or the programming cable won't work. And so if you already have one of those types of programming cables, not a knockoff, but the original one, the FTDI chipset cable, then you're going to be able to do this programming aspect to your radio. So stand by just a second. Let me switch over to the desktop. And let's see if we can program the radio. All right, so it should be on my desktop here. If you're able to see the front end of the screen, basically, I'm going to open up this right here. It looks like a flash drive. That is the icon from the software. And so that's the one you're going to click on. And so I double click on that, make sure that I have my my radio set up, my programming cable out. And so I'm going to have to get all that stuff. So just stand by just a second. All right. So now I have the phone plugged into the computer. And I have the desktop display up there so you can see it. I'm going to click on the icon for the KG-916. And I think I'm doing it on the recording. So give me 1 second and see if we can do it over here. Here we go. So now it's going to open. So there is your programming software right here. And I am hooked up The first thing I want to do is I want to read from radio. And so up here at the top, um, you have the file, open, save as, the read, the write buttons under edit. Under setup, you have the COM setup and the language. And again, if you click on it, if there's, it's always supposed to be on COM1. If you try any other COM port, it doesn't matter. It'll always default to COM1 in this software for some reason. And so if your COM port in your computer is named something different, just rename it COM1. It's easy to do. And then when you go to hook up to it, then you'll know that it's on the right one for COM1. So when I click on this little desktop icon with the arrow pointing towards it, that's going to be reading from the radio. And so you'll see the lights blink on your FTDI USB port, the chip. And that's also going to be blinking the light on the top of your radio as it's reading the data. On the screen, you're going to have the read data information there on the screen. And so I know that I'm reading all the data from my radio right now. You want to try this before you do any other programming. And so the intent here is if you mess something up, if you change something, if you download a new version of your software, always read the data from your radio first. And then that way it's going to import all of your settings from your radio before you accidentally overwrite them with the new firmware update. When you first download the software from Better Safe Radio, there will be no channels in it until you read from your radio. It's almost done there. So once it finished reading, it'll repopulate the screen. You probably won't see anything different because I haven't changed much of any of the channels. It says read okay, yes. And then basically you're back to your channel screen. And so this little icon over here is going to be the version, PC Write version 1.0.3. Again, there's a help button, the setup, the language. I forgot what this icon is. Oh, optional parameters. So this is where you're going to put in your call sign. So this little icon that looks kind of like, I guess it's the gear settings wheel. I don't have my glasses on. So here you're going to have where you can change your squelch, your voice parameters, your key features, backlight settings, how many seconds to stay on. Your priority channel, the channel you want your radio to start on is priority channel. Scan if you want to scan. Very similar things like that. Right here where it says open display, message display, that's where I want to put my call sign, WRMV 759. So when I power on the unit, it'll show my call sign. And so that's pretty much what this optional feature screen is. VFO set is kind of like when you just go to a random VFO channel, it'll start on this one. And I don't remember which channel it is. It doesn't really matter. I don't use it. VFO power and wide or narrow. And pretty much that's it for that kind of stuff. I don't use DTMF tones. I mean, if you're doing that, then this is where you find DTMF tones. That's the open certain repeaters, and I don't have any like that. So that's the optional feature button. As far as programming your channels, Better Safe Radio's programs in the first 100 and so channels on, I don't remember on this one how many it is. And so I'm just going to kind of scroll down a little bit. So it looks like the first 150 channels are going to be pre-programmed in. Oh, nope, there's more. So there was a gap there. Now I'm at 252. Another gap. These look like EMS channels. There's the railroad channels. I'm pretty much down to the bottom of my software. So, yeah, that's pretty much the bottom. Right about 400 is where he has it cut off. And again, these are going to be multiple different channel banks of what they call shit hits the fan channels. So like public safety, law enforcement, I know it's public safety. Some of your radio, med channels, the railroads, and so forth. I guess prepper type channels. There's also multiple banks of GMRS channels. And so we know GMRS goes channel 1 through 22. Plus, there are 8 repeater channels. And he has those marked up in here to channel 30. And they're all pretty much set with a standard encode, which is the transmit tone. Most of them are 141.3. That's a standard transmit tone. And then he has the receive decode tone off, so you can just pretty much hear anybody on any channel without tones. And the channels between, I think it's 8 or 7. Yeah, 8 and 14 are half watt type channels, and they're narrow band. Everything else is wide band. You'd hear. So low power, about half a watt to 1 watt. Narrow band from 8 to 14. And then high power, which is 5 watts in this radio, with wide banding for 15 through 30, which are going to be the repeater listening and transmit channels. And then your first 7 channels are also high power, 5 watts on this radio, wide band. And that's going to be channel 1 through 8, or 1 through 7, I'm sorry. Then what he does in that is he'll repeat those banks of repeater channels. And so you see here where it starts at, looks like 34. It's starting at 35. So here's repeater channel 15. And then repeater channel 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And then he starts again. Repeater channel 15 through 22. Right? And he'll do that in about 4 different banks. So if you have different tones that you need to put in, different input tones, different output tones, split tones, however you program your radio, you have multiple banks that you can do that. You can leave one as standard GMRS, so hopefully you can talk to anybody anywhere around the country. If you have ones that are specific to your area, let's say in this bank 2, or what he calls GMRS B bank, you can put in your input tones, whether they're DCS or CTCSS, and you can put in the listening tone, whether it's DCS or CTCSS, and they're split or not split. And you can just do that over and over with multiple banks. And I feel if you want to, you could probably do that throughout your radio on all kinds of different channels instead of having these, prepping channels. You could probably have 20 banks of GMRS channels if you want, all with different tones. That seems a little redundant and weird. And so I think basically he's just going, well, I'll program in 4 areas where you can change your tones if you need to. You probably don't have that many repeaters in your area where you need to have that many that you can change tones on. But this is pretty much how you would program it in. If you want to write one, I'll start right here on line 152. There's a blank space. And so I'll click on it, and I'm just going to write in an input channel. I'll go with channel 15 repeater. So 462.550 and 00. There's 5 numbers. So that's what I'm listening to. Transmit on that is going to be 467.550. And then in this side, we'll have a drop-down menu. So I click on the drop-down menu. I scroll until I get to 467.550 right there. And I'll put it in. Decode, I'll change this to a DCS. Let's just say a random one. How about an internal? There we go. So I'm going to say 645N, DCS decode. My encode, and it automatically put it also as the encode or the transmit frequency tone, but I'm going to change that. And so I have to click on it, and I'm going to put this one that it's a CTCSS tone, 77. So I've got 77 to transmit on 467.550. DCS decode 645N on the 462550 listening frequency. I'm on high power, wide banding. Not worried about scanning or adding it, so I'm just going to click on delete. I don't want it in my scan feature. And I'll call this Metro 550. That's it. So I just programmed a channel on a GMRS repeater, 462550 listening, 467550 transmitting. Transmit in tone is 77 CTC SS. Decode on the 462 listening channel is DCS 645N. High power, wide, and I called it Metro 550. If anybody else inputs the very exact same stuff, I can talk to them, they can talk to me, and we won't hear anybody else. Other people can hear us. If they're just listening without tones, they can hear us on that channel, but we won't hear them unless they have those exact tones in. So this is pretty much how you program the radio using the software when you're going to add channels. And like I said, the gear system here at the top is going to be all of your extra stuff, like putting in your call sign and some other miscellaneous things. And then other than that, all I need to do is then write it to the radio, which is going to be the symbol right here with the arrow pointing away from the computer. Or if I go to edit, I can just click on write or Control plus W. And I would write then to the radio. And so if I leave that channel in there, which isn't a real channel, I'd be writing that to the radio. I probably just want to delete that just because it's not a real channel. Delete. Now the whole channel goes away. I'll pretend that I did something, and I'll click on the write button. And it says, are you sure you want to write the data? And I click start, and it's going to do the exact same thing it did before. The light on the top of the radio is going to blink. The flashing lights on the USB chip is going to blink. You're going to see the scroll bar down here is going to line up. So I'll hit start. It's already talking to the radio. Got flashy red light on the top of the radio. I've got flashy lights on my USB port. And then I have the counting scroll bar going across on the right data. All right. So that's it in a nutshell. That's how you program the KG-916. Fairly straightforward, fairly simple. And I have not had a problem. And I go in there and add and subtract channels, especially when I'm traveling. And so, again, if I have to do any changes, you could do it from the front of the radio. But when you have a list of 400 things, it's so much easier to do it from the software. And then once you get done, all you're going to do is click on your save button. And that's going to be right here. Looks like the 3.5 floppy disk, which most people nowadays don't even remember. And so when you click on that, it'll ask you, do you want to save it to, wherever you save files? And I just usually call mine something like KG-916. And you can see it here. So I have KG-916 and then a date the last time that I did an update or something. And on this one, I did one on 5/29 after reprogramming some of those channels from the repeater down in Colorado Springs. So that's how you save them. And it's that simple. So now let's go out and see what type of propagation that we're getting off of this repeater over in Colorado Springs. And let's see if we got anything fixed by installing that new antenna. Hey guys, Ham Solo here. Kilo 0 Foxtrot Yankee Romeo, or WRMV 759 on GMRS. After getting the KG-916 GMRS radio programmed, I wanted to come out and see if we had done some changes to the repeater that we put up on top of that building that you saw. And so I am in a town called Fountain, and this is just south of Colorado Springs, and I'm sitting probably at about 10.5 miles or so from the repeater itself. And so Got the KG-916 here with the regular rubber duck antenna, and I'm going to see if I can make contact with that repeater. This is WRMV 759 trying to do a repeater check on the 650 in Colorado Springs. Well, that didn't hold well, huh? If anybody was trying to respond to WRMV 759, there was no audio, just the repeater kicking on and off about 4 times in a row. All right, on this one, I have put on the, forgot what it was called, super antenna? That's not right. It's the, so for this one I put on the smiley stick antenna. This is a GMRS tuned telescoping antenna. Got the KG-916. This is WRMV 759 trying to hit the 650 in Colorado Springs. Can I get a report, please? I'm definitely hitting it. I can see it. All right, I barely copied that. Were you responding to WRMV 759?
Message us in the group message on the Facebook.
Yeah, I'm using 5 watts, and I'm 10.5 miles away. Let me move a little closer and see what happens. Okay, I have moved about half the distance, so I'm probably 5.5 miles from the repeater. Gonna try with the rubber duck antenna again and see if we're able to get that new repeater online. This is WRMV 759 on the 650 repeater in Colorado Springs. Can anybody give me a signal report? Heard the the courtesy tone, and now I just get.
04, you're coming in 5x5 on my end.
Received. Your audio is a little scratchy. I'm probably 5.5 miles at exit 135 from the repeater. Now I'm just getting the courtesy tones. I think I can see the building. We'll see what happens if I switch antennas. All right, so this is again the Smiley, the Super Stick for GMRS. All right, I switched antennas. This is a different antenna. I'm using a handheld on 5 watts. This is WRMV 759 on the 650.
59904 here. If I'm getting through, you're still coming in clear on my end.
Received 904. I just heard you. Yeah, I appreciate that. I tried from Fountain, and apparently I wasn't even holding the squelch open. But I'm at the top of I guess, Walmart Heights, where the Walmart is here at exit 135, just trying to see how the repeater's working with the handheld.
Yeah, if I'm coming a little scratchy, I got a brick wall in front of me, so I'm sure that's not helping. But yeah, no.
Yeah, the first part of your audio came out pretty good until you said brick wall in front of you, and then you kicked off the repeater. So, were you able to hear me when I was in Fountain? WRMV 759.
759-904. I think that you were just tripping it, and I think you were hearing the same thing that I was doing earlier, just simply tripping the squelch and then courtesy toning out. Did not hear any audio voice.
Okay, roger. Yeah, that's a little bit lower area over there. I've got a pretty good view. Actually, I think I can see the building, but I'm probably 5 miles at least from it. I don't know if that transmission went through. I'm about 5 miles. I think I can see the building from here. I'm going to do 1 or 2 more tests, maybe North Academy area, and see what that's like. All right, and I copied nothing there, just the courtesy tones. So I'm going to pack everything up, and I'm going to head north and see how it goes on the north side. So both antennas obviously are hitting it. So far, I have to say that I'm not really sure if the setup of the repeater from where it's at is... Alright, this is WRMV 759. I'm going to go movement from 135 and head up maybe to 150, 151. I'll get back on in a little bit. So right now, I'm not really sure if there isn't something wrong with the repeater. At 10 miles, I should have been able to hit it fairly well. I know that is a little bit lower area. There's some foothills in between, but the height of that building is 15 stories, if I recall, and like from here, it's dead on. I can see it. Off in the distance. Let's see if I can turn the camera that way. If you can see, that's probably too far. There's a white dome that's kind of over in that direction, and then the building is right next to that white dome. And so, again, about 5 miles. Let me go north and see what the propagation on it is like up north, and then kind of close it out. But at least it's getting out now, when before with the other antenna it wasn't getting out at all. So got it quasi set up. I'm going to try it again in a different location. All right, at the flight line at the Air Force Academy, where I've hit the Metro 700 repeater before. I've hit the Traveler repeater before. A little bit difficult, but not always. Got the 650 on, got the extended ham stick on there, the Smiley Super Stick. This is WRMV 759 on the 650 in Colorado Springs. I see that I'm keying it up, but I'm not getting the courtesy tone back.
We're getting the minimum audio, good time.
All right, this is 759 on the 650. I'm at the Air Force Academy flight line. All right, I'm going to move a little closer. This is probably 11 miles or more from the repeater on the other side of the little range there. So let me move closer. All right, I moved about 2.5 miles closer. I am on Woodman Drive in Colorado Springs, and behind me, basically this hill right here, I think they call that the Palmer Divide, and so that's between me and the repeater. I don't think I'm going to be able to hit it, but I'm going to try from here. This is WRMV 759 on the 650 in Colorado Springs. Got the courtesy tone back. Okay, your audio did not hold the repeater, but I'm at Woodman on off of 25.
25, other than that, it was cutting the repeater off.
Okay, let me try to move closer. I'm at Woodman.
Make a note and let me know through Messenger. I sent you a message.
All right, received. I'm going to try to get a little bit closer. I'm at Woodman in 25. .904, this is 759 on the 650. All right, I didn't get any audio. It just did the courtesy tones, but I am at Centennial and Garden of the Gods right now. Centennial and Garden of the Gods. And I only heard a very small bit of audio. Didn't even bank out a word, and then just courtesy tones.
Copied you at Centennial and Garden of the Gods.
Yeah, roger, roger.
Copied you 100% from there. You're sounding good, nice and clear. Now you're getting just a little staticky.
Yeah, received. I'm not moving right now, but yeah, I can hear you. I got your audio clear right now. I'm gonna go up another mile or two and get on top of Fillmore.
I'll be standing by.
All right.
I need to update the firmware so I can get the other settings adjusted. I guess the one that I have now just is not correct, but I don't know. Even the guy I talked to there is now gone, so. Well, I'm glad that you got good intel on what to upgrade to hopefully make it work better. And that this will fix a lot of the problems and give me more of the settings that I can correct to hopefully get this to where it's supposed to be. I don't know if updating the firmware resets it, but I'll have the file so that I can re-put the information for the repeater.
759.
759904, you're coming in 55.
Yeah, roger. I am on top of a hill at Centennial and Fillmore, right off of the roadway, and I'm overlooking downtown. I'm on a handheld running 5 watts with the stock rubber duck.
Alright, copy that, 759. Yeah, you're coming in super clear, 55, as if you're standing next to me.
Yeah, I heard a little bit of y'all's communication back and forth. You said Bridgecom was going to give you some more, like a firmware update?
Roger that. I had talked to Bridgecom yesterday. I got a hold of them trying to figure out what exactly is going on and why the repeater's not being held open. And they sent me a new firmware to hopefully give me a few more settings, because some of the settings that I need to change are not seeable in the firmware that I have. And then they also gave me a few other settings I can kind of adjust to hopefully make this a little bit better.
Roger. Well, it seems like everywhere around probably a 5 to 6 mile circle seems to be okay, but yeah, I'm just kerchunking, and it's only given the courtesy tone past about 6 miles around.
About what I'm seeing too. I've been trying to update on the map your locations. Just when you get some time, if you can send those through the messenger, that way I make sure that I have those on point. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing as well, is about a 5 mile radius, and it should be a lot more than that. So, and this is with the antenna that you provided, so yeah, not sure what's going on.
Yeah, Roger. I'm going to head over to the cutoff at Cave of the Winds at Manitou, and I'm going to try from there before I go back uphill. So I'll try one more time west at the light at Manitou Springs.
Copy that.
All right. So far, about a 5 or 6 mile circle.
42904, are you still on?
That's better than half a mile, if you know what it was.
I'm here.
All right, on this one, I am overlooking, well, I'm not looking at anything, but there's the beginning of the mountains behind me. You can see here. And I am above Manitou Springs, almost at the entrance of Cave of the Winds. And so let's try, see if we can hit it from here. This is WRMV 759 on 650 in Colorado Springs.
Hey, 759, this is 482 Dave. How you doing?
Good, sir. I am at the light above Manitou Springs, near the Cave of the Wind entrance, and still on the handheld 5 watts with the rubber duck.
Hey, that's awesome. You're coming through real sharp on that.
All right, that's good to know. Yeah, I think a lot of it had to do with the probably the elevation. But yeah, I'm sitting right off of 24 at the light at Cave of the Winds.
Cool. Hey, can you drop down the 600 traveler channel real quick? I want to check to see how I'm picking you up.
Frequency mode, channel mode.
All right, this is WRMV 759 on the 600.
Yes, sir. Copying you nice and clear. Thanks. You can jump back on 650 if you want.
Okay, Roger.
099.
This is 759 on the 650.
Yep. Where are you at now?
Yeah, Roger, Roger. I pulled off the side of the road. I'm next to the storage place that's at that intersection.
Okay. Yeah, you were kind of in and out there for a moment, but this last transmission you came through pretty clear.
Okay. Okay, received. Yeah, I'm gonna head up the hill, so I probably won't hit you anymore once I go up past this light.
Copy that. We'll see what happens.
Roger. Once I get through the beginning of the pass and I stop at the light at Pikes Peak Highway at Cascade, I'll try one more time, but after that, I'm probably not going to reach you.
Okay, we'll be listening.
All right, last test to wrap up this video. I am in Cascade, west of the springs, kind of in the middle of the pass. This is the road that goes to Pikes Peak Highway and to get up to the driving track of Pikes Peak. WRMV 759 on the 650 in Colorado Springs. So it looks like I keyed it, but I didn't get the return tone. So I'm going to try the Smiley antenna super stick on it. See if that makes any difference. It's supposed to be 6 decibels a gain. Got a lot of hills and paths and turns and all that in the way, so I probably can't hit it, but this was just a test to see if it was possible. This is WRMV 759 on the 650 in Colorado Springs. Okay, again, it looks like I keyed it, but I didn't hear a courtesy tone or anything. Are you able to copy this radio, WRMV 759? Now, it doesn't look like it's keying it up. So, didn't think so. Coming up through the pass, that's no surprise to me. I think the biggest thing is that it's semi-repaired. Again, looks like the radius right now is only about 5 to 6 miles around the repeater, and that's with that new antenna that they put up there while I was gone. It should get further out than that for sure, and so he's going to apparently check on some firmware update and maybe adjust some settings on it, and so we'll see how it goes. But at least now it's getting out, 5 to 6 miles from the where we did the install. So there's the update to the repeater. Appreciate y'all watching. This is Ham Solo K0FYR WRMV 759 73.